Thank you very much for staying with us now. As some in the class of 2025 will be preparing for their future, others will go to institutions of higher learning. Space is an issue, as we've seen in the past, with demand always exceeding supply. Dr. Phethiwe Matutu is the CEO of University of South Africa and joins us this evening. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Now, this is always an issue of demand versus supply. Hundreds of thousands qualifying for university, but space at public universities is extremely limited. Perhaps let's start by getting an update on the state of readiness.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bongiwe, and good evening to the viewers. We are ready. There has been a delay in terms of the preparation of the application outcomes due to the delay in getting the NSC results from the Department of Basic Education. So we are encouraging the learners, the parents and the guardians to just go to our website, which is University of South Africa, to look at the dates by which the outcome letters will be delivered by the universities. So normally the date at which they are delivered is the same day when the learners receive their NSC results. And that this year will not be happening for all universities.
And when you look at that particular delay, because it's been a concern over time, not only by yourselves, how can we begin to work around that then so that everything is done by the time that you need to, institutions to open?
So this differs this year. It's the first time that we have been unable to do this one. We normally get the NSC results at least 3 days ahead of time, and we're able to process them. And by the day when the students get their results from the Basic Education Department, we release the outcome letters. But what has been different this year is that last year the results leaked, and there was a company which was selling the results to the students. So as part of the risk mitigation this year, the Department of Basic Education gave us the results a bit later.
Now, when you look at the different institutions, for example, because there are those who are going to now take the results and come and apply at these different universities, let's speak about the institutions that still now could accommodate those who are coming late.
There were 14 institutions at the end of November which expressed that they still had spaces in a certain number of qualifications. And those institutions, I think it's important for the prospective students to look at the website of the various institutions, and they'll be able to tell which areas they still have spaces on. There were 14 of them.
And so in these particular 14, let's speak about the breakdowns, if you can, if you do have the numbers with you, because I know that at times it becomes a little bit difficult, especially when you think about the fact that in some institutions, for example, they will receive 100,000 applications and then find themselves with space for only 3,000, for example. So if you do have that breakdown for us, are you able to share it with us?
Unfortunately, I don't have a breakdown, but I do have an overall breakdown of availability of spaces for first-time entry student or first-time entering students within universities. We're sitting at 250,000. So that is 251,954. So you compare that with the bachelor's passes, which have been announced by the minister this evening. The bachelor's passes, they were sitting at 345,000. So there's a difference of approximately 100,000 between bachelor passes and what universities can take in terms of the first-time entering students. And so we do expect a certain level. If we are using that as a proxy, I'm talking about bachelor passes, not every bachelor pass which will qualify to get into university. But if we are using that as a proxy, then that means we're sitting at about a difference of almost 100,000.
Sure, and that's always been the concern over time. And I know that as yourselves, as universities, South Africa, you've also been seized with trying to see what could be done in order to address this particular crisis. We just heard the minister speak about the fact that universities are that we need a bit more in this country because other countries have got like hundreds, but also saying that again, TVET colleges don't seem to be the most attractive source, especially as far as parents are concerned, and maybe they should work hard with the Department of Higher Education to make them an attractive choice as far as the parents are concerned. Could that help at all?
As someone who has had children in the rural areas who have passed with diploma and certificate passes, we have not had that luxury of too much spaces within the TVET colleges. They themselves are full. So I think it's important that before we talk about them not being popular or the first choice, we look at the fact that already they are oversubscribed sometimes.
So quickly before I let you...
So the determinant of the capacity within universities, within TVET colleges, within community colleges is what our government can afford. What they can afford in terms of subsidies, what they can afford in terms of infrastructure development, what they can afford in terms of staff that needs to be paid.
So quickly,
so
before pardon me.
Look at
Pardon me, if I may come in there. I know you're speaking about what they can afford. There's another issue that they spoke about last week, and I'm not sure how, if you think it's a good idea. We've had NSFAS as well coming in to say that they're now going to be dealing with the service providers directly when it comes to the issues of accommodation. And they're just hoping that the universities and the institutions will give them, accurate data so that to avoid some kind of delays here. Does this help at all from your vantage point?
I think NSFAS can answer for itself, but the reality is that NSFAS can't be everywhere. We have universities which are close to areas of residence, and we know where NSFAS has taken over the payments of the landlords, what that has led to. So I cannot imagine how that is possible, or how that is going to be feasible. Universities, just one university, at the time of registration, they dedicate as much as 30 staff members to take care of the registration process, a placing of students in residences, list residences, and so on, just to ensure that the whole process becomes seamless. So I'm not sure how NSFAS can do that and what kind of staff capacity they can do that with.
Dr. Matutu, it sounds like you and I just need to circle back to this conversation as we get closer to the registration time. But thank you so much for giving us your initial, reaction and including some of what, of course, we've heard tonight. Appreciate your time. That's Dr. Phethiwe Matutu, the University of South Africa's CEO, speaking about even the fact that TVET colleges themselves are oversubscribed. So where do they, the cohort of young people go, especially when we hear that this for the Department of Basic Education could be an option. So we'll continue then to monitor this particular story.